Episode 38. 38.
38?
Episode 38.
Episode 38.
38. Am I saying that right?
I think so.
Have you heard the Baby Shark song?
I have heard the Baby Shark song.
Because I've been playing it all day for you.
Yes.
It's 5 o'clock.
Is it 5 o'clock?
Yeah, I literally at 4 o'clock, I'm like, okay, we're going to go do this podcast and do it an hour earlier. It is February 12th. February 12th at almost 5 o'clock.
Almost 5 o'clock?
Now, my
shit
is set by the cell tower, 4:58. What's that alarm doing going off fucking early?
Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, isn't it? Or is it today? Tomorrow. Wednesday?
Hold on. My supercomputer will tell you. Today's the 12th. Isn't Valentine's Day the 14th?
Could be.
14th.
So Thursday.
What are you getting Gina?
I already got it.
What'd you get her?
A vacation. She left and went to wherever her and her mom went.
What'd she get you? Peace and quiet?
Yep. She got me peace and quiet. Except I have to take care of all these animals, man, and they're a pain in the ass. I'm glad I don't...
That's what happens when you have a zoo.
I'm glad I did not...
I really want a zoo. I just don't want to have to do zoo shit.
Yeah.
I just want to, like, be able to walk through and pet my zoo animals. I don't want to have to vaccinate them, clean them, fucking shave their hoofs down. Yeah. None of that shit. If you want to be a zoo curator, I would love to have a zoo. Come, let me know. How about Baby Shark? You know Baby Shark? Do, 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 do. You know that song?
I believe I do now.
How about Baby Combat Cock do 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 do? Baby Combat Cock do 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 do? Baby Combat Cock do 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 do?
I think we need Amanda to sing the song and Gabby to floss behind her while she's singing the
song. I like it. Gabby, I know you listen. Gabby actually listens to all of these. I really think that she takes all of these home. I think she has a way to download them remotely from the computer because it's on the Wi-Fi network from the camera.
Okay.
And I think she waits until Josh. I think she actually drugs Josh.
So he'll sleep heavily?
Sleep heavily so that she can listen to our podcast.
It's a possibility.
I think she's our biggest fan.
Maybe. I don't know. I think
our biggest fan is.
It's
Shannon Burnett. I sent you the Baby Shark song. I sent you the Baby Shark song. You better stop pretending like you didn't get my message, Shannon.
Flores is our biggest fan.
Flores? I don't know if he's the biggest. I wouldn't go with.
Or who was that other guy that we see in here all the time?
Flores is kind of like not. He's not a fanboy. Flores is solid though.
Well, that's what.
I want to go to England and meet.
That's what Still His Fists say, anyways.
That's not Flores.
Oh, that's not Flores.
That's Kips.
That's Kips. Sorry, Flores.
You got your Mexicans.
I got my Mexicans.
You got your Mexicans mixed up.
You know, all I think about is conquering when I see
one came across the border, one came across the ocean. Isn't he Honduras? Is he? Do I have that? Cuban.
Maybe. Yeah.
Cuban. He probably, because he's there in Florida. He probably knows.
Oh yeah. He knows Tommy. He definitely knows Horatio Caine. I mean, how could you live in Florida and not know Horatio Caine?
And I think you get issued. You got to hang out. You get to hang out with Vanilla Ice, and you get either a Testarossa or a Countach. He's doing it. That dude's fucking got his shit together.
Vanilla Ice.
He just had a song come out with Forgiato Blow. It's fucking awesome.
And it's Ice that's married to...
No.
Who am I thinking?
Are you thinking Pink?
No. Who am I thinking
of?
Ice is married to...
I don't think he's married.
Oh, not Ice. I'm thinking of... Who's the one that's on SVU all the time?
SVU? Special Victims Unit?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't watch any of those shows.
It's not Ice. It's the other guy. Oh, man. It is Ice-T.
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 Yes, Ice-T. I'm saying Vanilla Ice.
You're saying Vanilla Ice. I'm thinking Ice-T.
Yeah, one's white, one's black.
Yeah.
One's a HUSTLER hustler.
Yeah, I guess he just took he got in a bunch of shit. I mean,
Bridget Nielsen.
I don't know how he can get in a bunch of shit. I don't know why people are crazy.
He's not black enough.
He posted a picture of his naked wife, and people were giving him shit about it. I'm like,
she's pretty hot.
Yeah, why do you care? If he's good with it, it's his wife.
They're gonna be like, hey, we got these pictures of Ice-T and he's doing blackface.
Yeah,
fucking retards. All right, we got some comments here. We're gonna read down these. What's up, guys? What's up? I thought we were starting this earlier so we could actually walk out and fucking people would still be here, but somehow that doesn't ever happen. It's the fucking Baby Shark song. Public comment from John Hamilton 6 minutes ago.
The snack is what holds us up.
It's the conversation during the snack.
During the snack, yeah.
We had some crazy conversations. What were we talking about?
We were talking about teeth, caves.
Human teeth. A jar full of human teeth.
A jar full of human teeth. A spleen.
A spleen.
What else?
3 babies.
3 babies.
In jars.
In jars.
I wonder if it'd fuck it up if you took your baby in the jar and fucking put like a aquarium bubbler to it. It probably would fuck it up. Because it would make the formaldehyde fucking dissolve.
Yeah, I'm sure there's something to that.
I would like to have like a little merman baby floating, like swimming around in an aquarium. Like, you see him. Like the dude from Hellboy.
That's a big aquarium, though.
Partner. Yeah, but I want a little one.
A little one? You want a baby one?
I want like
and then what are you going to do when it grows up? Just kill it?
I don't want it to grow up.
Well, it's going to have to.
I'm going to get a midget one.
A midget one. Oh, okay, a midget one.
I fly both flags at my house, American and Thin Blue Line. Also have a Thin Blue Line Spartan patch on my carrier. Good for you, dude. I don't have a problem with the Thin Blue Line thing. It fucking builds its camaraderie. Fucking, it identifies you. I think a lot of people put it on there just kind of like so people think those are cops' cars. The other thing too, like, I think a lot of law enforcement officers put them on there, and like, once you've seen them, you kind of look for them. I'm sure bad guys look for them too, though. But I would think that, like, I don't think I would want that on my woman's car because I think it would kind of make her a target towards shitbags. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I would think too. It's one of those things. Anything a sniper does or fails to do that gives its position away to the enemy. Me personally, whenever I see a flag with a thin blue line on it, I automatically think there's a gun in the car.
Yeah.
And, people are always looking to steal shit. Not that it's a bad thing. I mean, put whatever you want on there, but...
Safes are like locks. My dad used to say they're only for honest people. 100%. I look at it as to keep your kids' friends out of your shit.
Yep.
Or keep your kids out of your shit. Or keep your employees out of your shit. It's not to keep them from being able to get it. It's to keep them from being able to get it without physical evidence of them being able to get it. It's just like the booze cabinet, right? Your kid could go in and drink some of the booze, but if you got a padlock on there, he's going to have to fucking cut that padlock. You're going to be like, hey, somebody might have been drinking some of these booze.
Yeah.
Like, it was never a big deal to have a booze. Like, I remember my parents having a booze cabinet, and I never fucking touched. Like, I never had any desire to fucking taste it, drink it, fucking steal it. Never fucked with any of that shit. Shit, I don't think I even had a drink of alcohol until I was probably 35. I mean, I've well made up for it by now.
Yeah, probably. Pro tip, kids. Just go buy a lock that looks exactly like the lock that's on the cabinet, and then cut the lock, and then when you're done, put that lock on there. Your dad will totally think he fucking... he'll be pissed because he'll be like, what key is it? It will totally not be your fault.
As much as I love the gear and everything else that comes out of the SOE compound, I spend my hard-earned money because John keeps it gangster, laugh out loud, attack boas. They actually said that. Like, yeah, that is no bullshit.
Attack boas.
That was on the cover of the Los Angeles Times fucking newspaper. Attack boas and pythons guard the booty of stolen machine guns from Camp Pendleton.
And they did attack. You tried to feed those motherfuckers? Arrgh! Fuck.
I get bit more now for some reason. Like, I'm super comfortable around them. Dude, I used to like just take fucking, I would feed 200 snakes at a time and just grab mice by the tails and put them in there. And it's like the snakes got dumber. As I got older, the snakes got dumber. Their targeting is not as good because I get bit fucking all the time. I use tongs and shit now. As much as I love your gear, we did that one. I don't know about Dickie jeans, but I wear a Cobra EDC with or without Velcro with my Wrangler Cowboy Cut 13 MTZ jeans every day. Ken Schmidt says, John, they're not $10 jeans, more like 25. Laugh my ass off. It's what I like. All I own, dude. If that's what you like, then more power to you, man. I got no problem with what you do. If it fucking makes you happy. I don't think anybody should fucking... Like, I talk about $10 jeans and shit.
He's totally lying.
Why?
Because you are. You're totally lying.
Why? If fucking Ken Schmidt wants Wranglers, I
would love...
I'll do a Wrangler Combat Cock patch for you.
I would love to slide into my camis and come in here wearing my camis. But John hates camis.
Bullshit.
That's why he forces me to wear these Kohl's. He'll be like, why are you wearing your pajamas? You just can't wear...
Holy shit.
You can't wear camis in here, so...
I got no problem with you wearing camis in here. They need to be the heavyweights.
Well, of course.
And I'm going to need a different pattern every day.
Oh, that's easy. I could do that.
I got no problem. You want to wear fucking camis?
I could do that.
Let's just make it a required uniform.
I think I even have some chocolate chips. They might fit a little tight. They might be like skinny jeans. But I bet I still have a pair of chocolate chips somewhere in the
As soon as Katanica drops some fucking camo pattern pants.
Yeah, what's up, Katanica? Come on. Marpat. You want to make some bulletproof gear? Marpat. If you want to build some shit that you'll have on clearance for the next 6 years. Stop fucking around with this fucking all these other bullshit colors. They're just wannabe colors.
You do some multicam black and some multicam arid and some multicam fucking tropic, or get with your ATAX. You guys are fucking awesome with ATAX. Let's do some LEX or some IX or something. Some pants, Katanica.
I thought LEX you can't get it anymore.
If Katanica wants it.
You think if Katanica... You know what? I don't think...
They'll run it for us. I just don't want to run enough to do it.
I don't think Katanica could get it. I don't think they could get LEX.
You don't think they got the juice like that?
I don't think they have that kind of juice that they could get it.
Maybe if they left San Francisco.
I mean, it would be cool.
Maybe if they came to Tennessee to the fucking Mecca, the motherland, the epicenter.
It would be cool if they could get some, and then they could kick us some material down, and we could make them some bags or something. But I don't think they can get it.
Katanica could come here, and we could put a shed out on the corner of the property, and they could fucking work in there. They'd feel right at home. It'd be all fucking hippie and everything for them. It'd be just like San Francisco.
Just like San Francisco.
Sometimes it's foggy here and smells like farts. It'd be just like San Francisco.
We could get some crackheads to take a shit in front of your door every day.
Like San Francisco.
Just like San Francisco.
We could put a little fucking choo-choo train so it'd be like the BART for you. You know we're fucking with you guys. Have you guys had any luck hunting this year? I don't hunt. I feed deer. I've got 2 feeders out here. We feed deer. I fucking feed the shit out of some squirrels, but I don't kill them. Not because I have a problem with it. I just don't, man. I'd rather fucking walk out the door and see them than harvest them. I mean, Cody can come hunt if he wants to. I don't think they've ever hunted this property.
Once.
But they didn't actually shoot
anything. No, they didn't shoot anything.
That was more like sitting and waiting.
Once. I think he came here and was like here for an hour.
Yeah.
And then
at 10 in the morning.
I don't hunt anything on my property either. I have herds of deer. Herds of deer and herds of turkey. I just like having them hanging out. It's too. I know you're not gonna be happy about this, but it would be so non-sporting of me to hunt a deer at my house. I could literally reach out and touch these things. They're so tame here because around here it's weird. A lot of people, you would think that there would be a lot of people that hunt deer, and there probably is a good handful, but people are more into ducks. They love fucking duck season. Deer season, it's kind of like, usually the guys that you see shooting deer out here, they're shooting deer because that's what they're eating for the rest of the year.
True.
For the most part, there's not a lot of sport, like people out here hunting deer.
They're there. You just don't see them. They're out.
It's just not as much as like
they're in a tree stand, fucking waiting. We're usually asleep when it's happening.
Can't shoot them at dark time.
But like our deer here, at least on our properties, like I don't know about. I'm sure Jeff has some monster deer out there, but our deer here aren't very big on the property. But we can't, like, coming from California, deer there were literally the size of a fucking horse, like a small horse. Deer here, I have dogs bigger than some of these deer. But the zebra, that's going to be another story. The zebra and the ostrich. I live in a country. I live in the country on the Virginia-North Carolina border. We have well water, which I'm sketchy about due to all the chem spraying in the sky. So I buy cases of distilled water, which is way better for you than purified bottled water. Get a Berkey filter, man. Get a Berkey
filter, and you use your own water.
Set it on your counter. You can thank us later. You can get filters for the Berkey. They'll pull fluoride and everything out. For you bottled water guys, a lot of the bottled water, because we buy a shitload of it. Like, we buy fucking thousands of dollars of bottled water. There's always fucking 1,000 bottles of fucking bottled water in the kitchen. Read the label. Most of it comes right out of a fucking faucet from the municipal water district. It says Tennessee, whatever, or Dade County, Florida. A trip. Fucking, we're in Tennessee, and the water's coming from the Florida water district. But it's full of chlorine. It's full of fucking bromine and chloramine and fucking fluoride. Everything has all the shit in there. Your Berkey water filter will pull all of that out.
if you think your water is sketchy, I don't know if you know this or not, but you can take your water to your water district, and they will test it. And slip the guy a 20, and maybe he'll do all the tests. But they'll test it and tell you what's in it.
There's mail-in labs too. You can mail that shit right in.
Most of your well water is going to have poop in it.
Yep.
There's going to be some sort of E. coli in there, and your guy is going to tell you.
Shock it.
He's going to say, just pour a gallon of bleach in there. Run your faucets until you cannot smell bleach anymore, and then he'll be like, your water will be good for a couple of months.
Now my bong water was distilled water with ice. Once I used vodka, not that great, made it kind of harsh. Oh, and once my friends added mint leaves in the ice water. That was nice. What the fuck?
I think we talked about. Does bong water ever get changed or something like that?
I've never.
How stanky bong water is possibly be.
I don't think I've even ever been present when anybody used a bong.
I'm trying to think. The only guy that I knew that smoked pot was one of my good friends, and
before or after
this was in high school, and he never he had two. It was kind of funny because he had two distinct lives. He had stoner going to Iron Maiden concerts,
Stoner Bob,
and then military us, and he never crossed over the two. Even when I went up to North Park and met his buddies, he kept it. I don't know if he told them keep it PC, but I mean they were all cool. It wasn't. There was just no whipping out bongs and shit like that.
Build model airplanes, says the 80% lower fairy.
Build model airplanes.
I don't know.
80% lower.
I know we talked about 80% lowers, but
yeah, I don't know. Build whatever you want. I don't know what you were getting at, but you can build a bunch of 80%ers.
Yep, I bought two SKSs 15-ish years ago from a local shop. Cheap enough, I decided to buy two, $80 or $90 if I remember correctly. When I'm talking about that, I'm talking about I was 20 years old maybe. I'm fucking 48 now.
That was when they
were coming in crate. There was 10 of them in a crate.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I think it's crazy now when I look at the crazy gun laws and all that. But I remember going to the gun show and SKSs, Russian SKSs, would be in fucking 55-gallon barrels, just stuffed in these barrels,
like they were old swords and shit.
Fucking like people used to do with Mosin and Gotts. It's just crazy that, and now it's like go on Gunbroker and look up a fucking Russian SKS. It's just ridiculous the price there now.
A lot of videos of police I've seen. I wanted the cop to fucking taser the asshole. Video in the traffic stop. Show your ID and info, then move on. They have a job to do. I agree. Yeah. And especially the, are you threatening me? Am I being detained? I'm a sovereign citizen. I'm always rooting for the cops. I'm like, they're going to pepper spray this dude. They're going to asp that window. Like, something's coming. John of Good Cult is, I think, the Brazilian guy, Texera something. He impregnated young girls, sold the bodies, and killed the young girls. Case was brought forward by a woman journalist called Bittencourt, who committed suicide a few days after. Really sick. The Brazilian guy actually featured on Oprah Winfrey years ago. Craig Mason has a YouTube podcast, 4th of February 2019, on Winning, exposing the reality of pure evil. John of God part starts at 105. RE flamethrowers for defense in South Africa. Not sure how legal. You could get a flamethrower for your car. Any of you, like you guys that don't know, oil slicks and smoke screens and flamethrowers and shit, any of your armored car places do that shit. And all that's on YouTube, how to do all that. Caltrop drops, smoke grenade drops, all that shit. If someone wanted to carjack you, you could press the button and flame.
I've seen that car.
Would come up from below, side of the car, about waist high. You see that a lot in Mexico. Any place armored cars
I've seen that car in South Africa, though. They did a story about that and the flame shooting out of the side. Once again, It's the truth be told. Like I said, people are, and when bullets are flying, people can be really brave. Even getting shot, people can be really brave. But man, you put some flame on somebody,
you put some fire.
You put some fire out there. They don't want nothing to do. We as human beings don't want nothing to do with fire. You won't ever see somebody on fire running towards the fight.
That needs to be a patch, like Skully with his wizard hand. Blowing some fire on someone.
You won't ever see somebody running towards the fight on fire. Though, this is interesting as a fire. Watch the Kiss is supposedly doing their last tour ever. I don't believe it. Gene Simmons is he's not a human being. He's just a machine. But they're doing their last tour. And I think it's Ace Frehley. This just happened. They're doing a concert. Pyrotechnic goes off. You see his hair start to smoke. Some guy runs over. He's still playing. He's still singing. Some guy runs over, pats his head, and now you see flames shoot up his back. His fucking whole back of his hair. It's a wig, of course. These guys are all old. The whole back of his hair is on fire. Another dude comes out with some white powder and throws it on him, puts him out, and then spends like 30 seconds
frizzing the hair back up.
And I think it's Ace Frehley. Does not miss a beat. Does not I mean, that motherfucker did not know he was on fire.
The Dems loved it when Assange posted stuff on Republicans and on Reps and Bush, and weirdly enough, hated it when they posted stuff on HRC Podesta males. The thing is, he only posted true stuff, and it showed how incredibly crooked HRC, DNC, and MSM is. He should be given a medal, in my opinion, and MSN journalists should have a good look at themselves and what WikiLeaks brought out in the open. Sorry for the long post, but a lot of interesting stuff in your podcast again.
Yeah, I mean, he did. Here's the thing that you need to be aware of. The Russian intelligence community is pitting groups against groups. So, like, when they talk about Russians influencing the election, what they're talking about is the Russians actually had they would use their bots to support different groups to get those groups to argue amongst themselves, to raise the heat. A lot of the stuff that Assange was putting out there, that WikiLeaks was putting out there, they were actually getting from Russian intelligence services. It was the Russians who were feeding that information out so it could create the problems that it created within the election cycle. They actually had, the Russians actually worked it out where they had a patriotic group and a Muslim group meet. And nobody in either group had actually contacted each other. It was the Russians that were telling these guys to meet and telling these guys, hey, fuck you, come meet us. And they all met up. I don't think anything happened because once people are not in their basements eating mom's tuna fish sandwich and they actually have to throw a punch, it's a little bit different.
Dead Sparrow tattoo, Redmond. I know a guy who kept getting his radio stolen out of his car. And about the third time, he put fish hooks under the dash mount. So next morning, dude walks out, and there's a guy sitting in his car stuck to the dash. He calls the cops, and they show up and take him to jail and take the thief to the hospital. He ended up getting in a bit of trouble for that. The judge said no booby traps allowed.
Yeah, you got to be real careful with that stuff because you can't actually set up legally a booby trap even in your own house.
Well, his mistake is that he called the police.
Yeah, that was his mistake. But you can't really set up booby traps like that. You can't, put $10 bills on the corner to make them come into your house where you're sitting in your front yard with a shotgun or something. You can't really do that.
Phones never messed with navigation, but they do interfere with communications, especially on older phones. Mostly a bunch of clinking noises, but once in a while, one-sided conversation, pure gold. Not sure what we're talking about.
I don't know.
Have you ever thought about making a gear bag that sits on the front seat of your car and possibly hangs from the headrest? We kind of have some shit that might
do that. It just depends on what you want to put in it.
I've been using the Uncle Mike's bag for about 18 years now in my patrol car, law enforcement. The Uncle Mike's bags fall apart after a few years and lack any rigidity. Keep the podcast rolling. I have a trunk full of your products. So, I guess the way probably to do that, there's some of those out there, like the Giotto desk thing. Gall sells a few of those. All the police supply companies have them. The ones that seem to be better kind of have like a plastic rigid insert. Like you could almost take like a small bathroom trash can and build a bag around it so that it keeps its shape. It's just not our market. We're so busy doing what we do. And if we built something with a bunch of fucking pouches and organizers in that, we'd be way out of the fucking price of that market. Yeager has said a few times, Troy Industries, how they hired the dude that shot Vicky Weaver, but won't really go into detail. Do you guys know anything about? I don't, but it's out there. You can fucking Google all that. What is your guys' take on the whole Ruby Ridge thing? They fucked those people. They killed them. For 100% killed them. You guys rock. Keep up the good work. I watched every day. We've met Randy Weaver a few times. Met his daughter. We used to see him at Soldier of Fortune show in Las Vegas. That's fucking forever ago.
Yeah, I think just watch the. I think it's called the Randy Weaver story or Randy Weaver something. They have a pretty good. They have a pretty good narrative of it. I mean, basically the federal government was trying to entrap this dude, and as always, when I don't think you can think of a. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think you can think of a real situation where law enforcement, where the federal agencies go to guns and it does not turn into a fucking total shit show.
No.
I don't think you can think of. I mean, I can't think of any off the top of my head where it was just like.
But then again,
this is good to go.
With that said, the fucking successful missions aren't publicized generally.
Well,
we're talking about them because they were.
When you're talking about law enforcement, though. I'm just thinking of any time they have gone to where it's been,
the news crews, yeah.
ATF showing up.
We're gonna wait. We can wait them out. We'll put fences up and then they burn them out.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what, that damn Teasers has the best damn burger I ever had till that pregnant bitch tried to come take a bite of it. Dave Ackert. We've met this dude. Who is that? He was standing here telling us that.
I don't know, but that's a Teasers, man. That's the best strip club this side of the Mississippi.
Tony Kaiser. Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman has a book called On Killing. Talks extensively on how people can't pull the trigger on killing another human being. Another book. Okay. Great job. I enjoy the podcast and videos. Good advice is being given. Listen to podcast 36 and real estate being my side business. I agree on what John said. I just did a rental hack, bought a fourplex, renting out the other 3 to help us get more cash flow and save more money and buy our house with the preps. Take care. MC from Kansas City. That's the thing. Fucking live like shit right now so that you can fucking live like a king later. I got a lot of shit I bought. A lot of fucking toys. And just crazy shit. And I don't even have a fucking tenth of that shit. I don't even know where some of it is. Like, I have so much shit. I have buildings to hold all the shit. Like, I go in the garage here and I'm like, man, it'd be nice to be able to use this garage as a garage, or it'd be nice to be able to work out in this garage. But I get out there, and I'm like, oh man, that's in the way, So we'll take fucking a whole day and move shit to another building so it's not in my fucking garage. Spend money, save your money right now, and buy fucking property.
Buy property.
Have money set aside so when that thing comes along, when that desperate person or that deal of a fucking lifetime comes along, where you can buy 100 of something and sell half of them and fucking cover your portion of it. Like, have money available. It takes money to make money. Have money ready to go. Buy fucking property. I'm telling you guys, as somebody who didn't fucking do that, and like, you don't understand the club until you own property. Like, we got a friend right now that has just done the whole debt snowball thing. He's paid off him and his wife have paid off all their debt. He just put a offer in on some property in Colorado. I think it's 20 acres, 40 acres or something, but he's going to buy that shit. And I go, you don't realize how fucking cool that is until you're on your own property, because everything you do, mowing the grass, fucking every improvement you make, it increases the value of your property, and it's your shit. No matter how awesome your landlord is, when you're fucking doing something on your own property, it means something completely different. And you don't realize it until that time comes when you're in that club. Like, we can tell you, we can explain it to you, we can, you know, fucking give you as much information about the feeling, but until you feel it for yourself, you don't know what that freedom is. And congratulations on buying your property, man. That's awesome. Thank you, John. We want to hear how you got fucked, not for humor, but so we can be prepared. Brian Fraser. I'm not sure. You mean the raid thing? We've talked about it enough, man. I'm sure we'll talk on it again. I'm not even sure if that's what we're talking about. Thank you. Please don't stop the videos. Thank you for responding to my comments. Please ask Skully about Vegas. Now saying no ballistics match to the weapons found on any 58 death or injured victims. Please continue the videos. More people than you know believe the same as you.
My comment is, who's saying this? And I don't know. My comment is that the story is the story. That's the story. You can go down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, but if you actually look at the evidence as how it's presented, then you've got no choice but to pick him. The way the firing sequence happened, the timing of the firing sequence, it came from that room. He's the one that shot all those people. I know we want a heavy conspiracy theory, but it'd be a hell of a lot easier for the government to give some 64-year-old dude a bunch of money that he could ship to his girlfriend in the Philippines to go up into a room and fucking fire up that place and then commit suicide, or be similarly suicide by cop,
or that thing that
it would be a lot easier to do,
or that whole thing happened, but there was other guns. Like what this dude's saying is, the bullets pulled from the victim don't match the ballistics.
Yeah, but once again, where's that? What's the source of that information? You know, the problem is you want to believe certain things that just because they're out there on the internet, and I'm telling you that he's the one that did it.
Good news. Good news.
What?
Well, we both have our phones in here, so tonight you're going to have fucking 4,000 videos. I'm going to have 4,000 without fail. There is something. I could say a Millennium More Soft bathroom tissue, M29, 12 rolls, 2-ply, 9-inch. That will pop up fucking somewhere in the next 2 or 3 days. Yeah. I will see an ad or a video or something about fucking this particular toilet tissue.
The other thing I would like to just say is he didn't do anything particularly hard. Everything that he did was super easy. The calculated mistake he made was actually the fuel tanks. He believed that the ammunition that he was shooting was going to penetrate the fuel tanks at the airfield, and that would give him an opportunity to get out of the hotel. It did not penetrate those tanks because 5.56 isn't great at that, contrary to what people think. So everything he did was totally doable. There's actually an independent video out there right now that calculates from the time he got his hotel room. They do every single minute of the day with videos of him doing what he was doing, where he was going. I mean, they even know, and this may be something you don't know, is when you go into a hotel room now, because of the key cards, every time you open your door, every time you lock your door, the hotel knows you did it. So every time you enter your room at 1:25 a.m., the hotel knows you entered that room. When you go cross compartment, if you get 2 rooms, the hotel knows that you opened this door to go into this room. Just something to think about when you're doing crazy shit in Vegas.
Drill instructor cannot swear at new recruits. That is fucking bullshit. People don't get it.
No, they can't swear at recruits anymore.
He didn't beat the piss out of you. He yells and swears. Who gives a fuck? Unreal. Is this fact?
Yes, it is fact. They cannot cuss at you anymore. It's a kinder, gentler world, my friend. The last I heard too was they could only stress you for 2 or what was it, 2 minutes or 1 minute? It may even be 1 minute that they can only stress you for 1 minute. So the days of you going into the pit for 30 minutes at a time, getting fucked up by the drill instructor, those days are over. Now
they have stress cards now or something.
I think the Army does. I think they actually have stress cards where they're like, "Hey, you can't stress me out." Now, you know, Marines being Marines, they
stress you out. They should be able to drown one of you every class.
They figure ways around it. Like, it's so you go into the pit for a minute, then you form up, you start marching to the chow hall, back into the pit, another minute. So, I mean, there's ways around it, but yeah, it's a kinder, gentler world now.
On the topic of railguns, I'd like to hear your thoughts on using a railgun to throw a miniature payload similar to a M29 Davy Crockett system. Anti-rocket systems don't apply to a projectile that has no rocket in theory. Love the pot. Oh, I gotcha. So they can't. The anti-rockets can't sense it and shoot it down.
Well, they use. They're using radar when they're trying to shoot down an object in the air. They're not looking for a rocket. They're using a radar signature. So, I mean, it would probably be pretty good, you know, if you had a railgun that the projectiles, there was a shit ton of projectiles in the railgun and you fired it once, it would probably be pretty good at knocking out a target. Because that's all the CWIS. When you look at the CWIS, that's a radar system in the tracking system inside the CWIS that's trying to find the target using radar.
It really likes Airbus aircraft.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think the CWIS could shoot that high, but
it did. Didn't it shoot down that fucking Airbus plane? Yeah.
Not a CWIS.
Yeah, it was the fucking phalanx, the CWIS, the R2-D2 thing.
Oh, maybe it was.
That's what shot down that fucking airliner.
Then that airliner had to have been way low because it's only shooting. Well, I don't know. I can't remember. I think it is 20 millimeter. It might not be 20 millimeter.
I want to say it's 20 millimeter. John, what's your stance on flat Earth? The Earth is flat. Yes, we've been to the moon, but we were told never to come back. And the footage you see from NASA was not NASA going to the moon. That was that was in a studio. And there's a door when you get to the end of the flat Earth. There's a door, and when you go in there, we don't know where it goes from there.
Goes in the basement.
There is some crazy shit though. There are doors and archways and portals all across the world they're giant, as though they were made for giants, right? Like people say Sumerians or whatever, and Sumerians are actually the Atlanteans. Mud flood, look up mud flood. That's some crazy shit. But you see very, very common things all around the world. And when they measure them out, they are fucking spot on, as though they were made by the exact same people. And they have pieces of stone and granite that are so big, like we can't even manufacture them today. Stuff that we would have to use 4 or 5 pieces to put together. They have single pieces of stone. And then where they're put together, they're all put together with these like dovetails, like an hourglass shape almost. But when they measure them out, all around the world, it's like they were made out of the exact same jig. There's some bizarre shit. And it's dated back fucking thousands of years, some of this shit. So pretty wild. They say like the Egyptians and all the pyramid and all that shit, the Egyptian civilization, those monuments and shit were there. Those predate the Egyptians.
When the Egyptians were there, they were already historical items.
And then you've got these dudes that come out and they're like, they find all this proof, but then it's just sequestered. Like when they bring it out and try to put it out public, they get fucking blocked. Like
there's a lot of that going on.
There's a ton of fucking people coming out going, this is not the truth.
There's a lot of that going on right now.
Academia.
Today in Egypt.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, in Egypt right now there's a lot of suppression. And when I mean suppression, it's like so they did this Doppler, you know how Doppler radar works, right?
You're talking about under the Sphinx?
Yeah, they did this Doppler radar, and 2 independent companies, 2 real Doppler radar companies said, hey, you've got a hollow cavity here. There is a hollow cavity here. Well, the thought is people believe that it may be the Library of Alexandria, so that it was hidden underneath this. It was hidden underneath the Sphinx. That the actual library is still there, or the fucking cavity of it. Who knows what's truth or not. But the Egyptians will give no one authorization to excavate around the Sphinx. Because what happens, the problem is...
It rewrites their history.
It rewrites their history, and people, people want to believe what they want to believe. But there's a lot of that with Egyptology. Basically anything that you say is... Anything that you seem to think is fact because of one little piece, like really look at some of the stuff that
they've got this whole puzzle that they've put together.
Yeah, this whole puzzle, but they're using pieces that are so
they don't
small.
fit. They've shaved them, and then they find this other thing that fucking unravels all of it, and they suppress it. There's a video called "Things Archaeologists Won't Touch." And I watched it initially because I thought it was going to be physically like booby traps and shit, and that's not what it is. It's talking about things at the Central American pyramids and stuff.
Oh yeah,
where there's this thing, and they've literally planted trees around it. When you look at the aerial photos of it, you see these trees around it, and you can't see it from the ground because it doesn't fit the narrative. They talk about how all these fucking blocks. You can't even put a sheet of paper between them. There's no grout. There's no mortar. They literally were machined within specs that we can't duplicate today because of the size of the stuff. Like, we don't have a machine in the world that can make blocks this big and this precise.
There's a whole spot in the Yucatan Peninsula where it's just jungle. Just fucking jungle. And for the longest time, everybody was like, there's no way anything could be there. Well, this female scientist... About, I want to say 6 years ago, maybe it might have been longer, it might be 10 years.
Just the one watching Google Earth?
Yeah, she figured out a way to use Doppler radar from satellites to identify man-made objects on the ground. And so, like, they're doing it all over the world, and they're finding things that you don't see, like, even in Egypt. Around the pyramids, and they have never talked about this, and they've never mentioned this, but around the pyramids, there's actually there was a complex city at one time that was actually close up against the pyramids, which makes total sense, because if you're going to build the pyramid, people got to have a place to live. But same thing in the Yucatan Peninsula, they have found a bunch of, pyramids. They found a bunch of pyramids. They found they have found this super highway that's down there. Of course, it's all covered by the jungle. And the conspiracy is, we don't want people to know that there was an advanced civilization that was on par with what we're doing now.
Atlantis.
The one I kind of lean towards, though, is...
and portals. That's the thing. Like, you hear Stargates and stuff. All the artifacts, the big artifacts, one of the theories is that you can teleport between time and place, and that's what all those giant artifacts were. Go ahead.
Is the Mexican government doesn't want to have to take care of all these new finds. They'd rather just leave them in the jungle and not have to pay to have them cleared out. Because if you go to any of the real nice touristy ones, they're chopping down jungle every fucking day to keep it from swallowing those places up. But I just, God, what is it?
There's a 17-year-old kid that was watching Google Earth and found a pyramid.
Yeah. There's pyramids here in the United States.
There's pyramids all over the world.
All over the world, which is
big ones. And one just popped up on fucking on Google Earth in Antarctica. Like there's like fucking 20, 30 monuments in Antarctica that there's no explanation for. Like, they just shouldn't be there.
They just found a huge fucking huge pyramid in China.
Yep.
Initially, they thought it was part of the Great Wall, but once they started doing, their archaeology shit, it's a pyramid. The weird thing when you think about it is, let's just say we're not talking flying saucers, we're not talking anything. We're just talking people. The weird thing is, all around the world, at roughly the same time, same time in history, everybody is building the same exact architecture. They're all building the same shit. How did they? That's. I guess
that's what the ancient alien things is.
I guess it's possible that everybody's going to build a square house, but the reality is, it's just how did that?
Almost like the idea
how did that idea come around that's what they needed to build? I mean, even here in the United States, there are pyramids here in the United States, and one of the things that people don't realize is the native population in the United States and South America were landlocked here forever. So when the first people came across not Antarctica, but through Antarctica into the United States, those tribes were landlocked here forever. When Columbus fake found the United States and everybody started coming here, we introduced disease and all that bullshit to these because they had been landlocked. So why would they have made a fucking pyramid? Right? I mean, what reason for them to do in the Yucatan Peninsula to make pyramids like the Egyptians? It's just weird. I mean, it's one of those things that when people are telling you exactly what this is history, you know, we were this or that, or this fucking fossil is 1 million years old, you gotta ask yourself, is it 1 million years old, or is it?
Yeah, they just came out. They came out a few years ago and said all the carbon dating was off.
Yeah, I mean, even when they're telling you, like, I don't know, civilization was through this period, this time, they are just guesstimations. Even when they're doing carbon dating is kind of a guesstimation in the sense of,
let's just say this, this is what we're going to claim.
This is what we're going to claim, and hopefully...
Because if we come out and say that it's wrong, that means all of the rest of history is wrong. History is written by the winner, and history is constantly rewritten. And we don't, Jeff and I
We're doing it right now in the United States. We're rewriting history right now in the United States. They're changing the definitions of words.
Words, constantly.
They are rewriting history right now in the United States. 20 years from now, the things that you think are correct will no longer be correct.
I guess John should have graduated from high school so he would know his age. Laugh out loud. Just kidding. Love the podcast. Right on. It's the expansion of the water that freezes the radiator that's bad.
Yes. I get it now.
I was on the yellow.
Explained to me.
I was on the Yellow Footprint on July 11th, 1999.
Boot.
Hillbilly Psycho. We're going to the 2019 NRA meeting. Is there anything we can do to promote SOE? Please let us know. We owe you. Not really, man. Just meet up. There'll be other SOE people. There'll be dudes, you know, from the podcast and shit. You guys just meet up and have a good time together.
Where are we meeting up? What's going on?
I think it's Indianapolis this year. NRA.
Oh, NRA, yeah.
The videos are fucked up all day today. The keep staggering and stalling and must be refreshing and shite. Only your channel? ? Maga Kid, I don't know.
Hey man, with a name like that means they're listening to you and they've put something in your fucking system that is fucking it up a little bit. You want to get rid of your phone and your computer, head on down to Best Buy, buy new ones. And from now on, when you're watching our stuff, go to Starbucks. Don't watch it at home. They've got you. So
couldn't cuss? Same kid. Same guy. Couldn't cuss. My drill sergeant literally used motherfucker or goddamn when he couldn't complete a sentence, which was every sentence. Goddamn 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, there's some drill instructors that get creative with some F-bombs, but technically, by the rules and regs, they're not allowed to cuss at you anymore.
The best ladder I've ever owned is a 17-foot $100 ladder from Harbor Freight. It's called the Multitask Ladder. It was $139, but I used the coupon from Harbor Freight app. It's tough and heavy. Laugh out loud. I'm done with regular ladders. Right on.
Best part about that was Chinese labor that built it.
Attack boa patch.
Oh yeah, attack boas.
You could do it. An attack boa guarding the booty of all the combat cock nest. HR 25 has the potential to fix some of that IRS shit. Well, then they're not going to do it.
Yeah, it's not going to get passed. Whatever, if it's there to fix something, it's not going to work.
If it's in our benefit,
it's definitely not going to work.
Skunk spray might be more fitting for a break-in perp who has the goal their goal in your safe. Yeah, but
can you get skunk
pepper spray is way easier to get.
Can you get skunk spray?
Then you get urine and shit.
Then you have to decontaminate your house.
Dave Grossman wrote a book compiling a lot of events where people are very reluctant to kill other people. I'm sure the book has initiated a lot of soul searching for concealed carriers.
They actually have a the On Killing book, there's another one, a secondary one, and it's talking about it's not really our generation, and it's not really my generation, but it's the generation playing video games now that it's desensitizing them and making them more gun friendly,
more the drone pilots,
more gun friendly. But you know, as having a rifle, as having a sniper platoon, and a rifle platoon in combat, I have seen people not fire their weapons.
Did you have snipers that wouldn't fire?
I didn't have
weeded them out before that.
Yeah, I didn't have any snipers that didn't. Well, you see, here's the thing: you don't know. You kind of at that level, you don't know. I did have a recon sniper in Somalia that wouldn't shoot, and he ended up transferring over to recon. But yeah, you just never know who's the guy that's going to pull the trigger and who's not. And I'm not saying those guys aren't brave, because you know when you hear about a dude that gets up on the battlefield and runs 100 yards to pick up somebody wounded and drag his ass back, chances are that's a guy who wasn't shooting his rifle.
Skully, you can drive a tank in Minnesota. Minnesota.
Yes, Minnesota. That's where they are. I don't know what the tanks.
But you'd come back smelling like cheese.
Yeah.
That's cheese, sir.
I want my own. So, if you can get one of those tanks they have up there in Minnesota, preferably, let's see, what do they have? They got a T-72, I think.
I'd want the one with the big icebreaker thing on the front.
There was a group of people in Texas that had a Marine Corps M60 tank that they fucking totally reworked and put it back together. Beautiful fucking vehicle. They sold that. I can't remember how much they sold it for, but I would like to have one of those.
How much for the T-72? I would think those are probably obtainable.
They're obtainable, but the problem is the import problem. It's getting it here. It's sure a fucking pain in the ass.
That'd be like that damn Deuce and a Half. Like, we would never drive that.
Oh, man, no, I'd drive it every day.
Would you?
Yeah, if I had a tank every morning, you'd be like, what are you doing? I'd be like, I'm driving my tank around the property.
When we went to that private zoo a couple weekends ago, they had a Unimog fucking expeditionary thing there. One of those fucking runway vehicles. Pretty clean, man, just sitting there. Let's just go in and be like, hey, let us build a runway. Hey, let us come in. When you need some shit, Doug, let us come drive your Unimog.
We'll fucking come build your runway.
I looked at your website on my phone and on my desktop. Maybe it's just my computer, but I cannot find the Amazon link. Homepage, scroll to the bottom. It's there with all the other links and stuff.
Homepage, scroll to the bottom.
It's just a button. It's just Amazon. It's just that little.
Click on Amazon, then put M1 Abrams in and see what comes up.
And thanks for taking the time to look, Bill. It's there. I promise you. Nick Bolton. Holy shit. Nick Bolton. I celebrate his whole catalog.
Bolton's whole catalog?
Nick Bolton. Isn't Nick Bolton Michael Oh shit.
It's Michael
wrong one. Well, Michael his
maybe
his
Nick
little brother.
Maybe that's his maybe Michael Bolton is his stage name. It's really Nick Bolton.
I told my wife anything she buys on Amazon without going through your page, it's getting sent back and reordered. What you all are doing is unique, and I appreciate the time you take to interact with us who comment. Nick, man, thank you. Like for real. Not because you're buying some shit that we get some money off of. Like, just thanks for fucking spending time out of your day to listen to us, and as long as you guys comment, you know, it fucking keeps this rolling. Tell Skully to run for president. Freezing water is in an engine block, does the same thing as a can of soda in the freezer. But doesn't it push out the freeze plugs? So really it's not going to damage it's not going to fuck the motor up because it's going to pop the freeze plugs. After the ice expands and pushes the freeze plugs out of an engine, it has nowhere to go and cracks the weakest part of the engine block or the head. If it's frozen solid, chances are because it will either turn over with a ton of noise because the water pump is frozen solid, or it'll do nothing. All right.
I can't run for president.
Why?
Because they would have to kill me, man. I want to do too much crazy shit.
I buy a lot of crap through Amazon Prime. I didn't know about your link, but I'll be using it. Rob Pridemore, thank you, man. Pridemore, sorry. Don't worry, I'll fuck your name up again. My friend, bong water with ice cubes, has some mouthwash added in, is the way to go, I've heard.
Mouthwash added in? Do you taste that? I don't know how it works. I'm dumb. I don't know how none of that works.
As a note to soldiers not willing to kill, there's a book out called On Killing by Lieutenant Colonel Grossman.
It's a good book.
It also talks about how the military has gotten better about training that out of soldiers.
I don't know if you can... I mean, I don't know if you can really...
Remove it?
I don't know if you can really train it out. I would just... It's interesting. It would be interesting to see what the statistics are now. Because... Remember, we're talking about two different times when we're talking about World War II. People are less religious now. So there's a lot of factors that are involved. I will say this, the difference between just 10 years of being, just 10 years of being in the military, of how many people actually have fired a weapon prior to joining the military, it's fucking, it's in the toilet now.
Yeah, those kids
most people aren't shooting anymore. Even when you get a class of snipers on deck, and you ask them that question, most of them will say the first time they shot a rifle was when they joined the military. My generation was totally different. When you would ask that generation, when I went through sniper school, if you asked how many people shot a rifle prior to coming in the military, almost 90% of them would have their hands in the air. So there's a lot of factors involved when you're talking about what gets somebody to shoot or not shoot. I believe I could train anybody to kill another human being, but you don't. No matter what anybody says, no matter what kind of training you have, you don't know until you're in that point whether that person is going to pull the trigger. And a lot of times, they're not pulling the trigger to save themselves. They're pulling the trigger to save you. So, I mean, it's one of those things. You just don't know until you're in that position.
I think it's the encounters you guys have had, because I've met some jiu-jitsu guys, and they love weed. It is here in California, but these guys are up 4:30 in the morning. Daily regimen could kick all our asses and are in way better shape than any of us. No doubt there are some losers, ass stoners, but I think they would be losers no matter what they do. If you're a loser before you smoked weed, you're going to be even more of a loser when you start smoking it. If you're a positive early bird and drive, they like a joint with their coffee and perform their dailies. I'm not sure what that's about.
We were probably talking about Joe Rogan or something.
I think weed, or I don't know. I think at this point you could do it without even smoking the weed and get the benefits of it. But dudes that train a lot, especially fighters, I'm sure they have aches and pains. I'm sure that the fucking that helps that. I think it's probably a good sedative to sleep and get more economy for your sleep. I think there's probably something to all that stuff.
Joe Rogan actually was talking about, he thought that maybe there was a performance enhancement for fighters smoking weed, and the guy he was arguing with was like,
"Well, of course, because he's selling that shit.
How's it even possible?" Well, no, because he was talking about an actual fighter that every time he would go in and he would smoke a little joint before, and even like Joe will say that, like, if he's having a writer's block and shit, yeah. So I don't know. There's gonna be the cool things, my friends. All these myths that you've been told for the fucking past year or two about how
you're about to find out.
If you smoke weed, it will make you superhuman and cure all your cancer. We're about to find out, because all this shit is gonna get legalized before Trump leaves office. That's just my prediction. I think he's going to drop the hammer on the Democrats, and they're going to look stupid when the Democrats are all trying to say weed is bad.
Dude says, really love the concept of the trackline ratchet belts, but all I have tried have failed in 2 to 3 months. Will SOE ever create this kind of belt? I replied, I said, fuck no, because they fail. It's a gimmick, and they don't adjust finite enough. You know what doesn't fail? That's what I asked him. Our belts don't fail. We've been building these belts for fucking 30 fucking
What is
plus
a ratchet
years.
track belt?
It literally is like you've seen some of those tourniquets that have the
okay,
that ratchet thing on them. They still have a tail that have to fucking adjust on them. At least the ones I've seen. I've never seen one in person. Our belts work, and our belts don't fail, and that's why we build them the way we build them. There's all kinds of gimmicks and shit out there. Fucking spend your money where you want to spend it. Go buy all that other silly shit, And when it doesn't fucking work, buy our belt. And all we ask is that you fucking tell people our belt is better. If you find a product, and like every time we see a dude saying that they have some other belt that's better than ours, that dude never has photos of our belt. He's always tied into that camp somehow, or his friend owns the company, or he's aligned with him because he's a cop and the thin blue line stuff. Like, if you're going to say that there's a product better than ours, I don't have a problem with that if you truly believe that. But you have to actually have been a customer of ours. You have to actually have our product for that to mean shit. And there's not any of those dudes out there saying that will ever post an invoice number or post a photo of the fucking SOE product. It's not there. You literally just said you have spent your money on 3 of them and they have all failed. The ATF should be abolished. Trump should make it happen.
It'll never happen. Trump won't go that far. Here's the thing about big government, my friends. Have you ever heard of us getting rid of big government?
Nope.
That's not going to happen.
Have you ever heard of them giving some money back to you?
It's bigger. It's going to be bigger and bigger and bigger. The only thing you can really do, this is the only thing you can really do, and this is where your vote counts. Get out and vote those people in office that will at least keep it the same. Because you're not going to get... Look at the fucking millionaire club that is politicians. Do you think they're going to give up the opportunity to be millionaires? No, they're not going to give that up. It's why they still get paid when the government's shut down. It's why they have no term limits. The government is not going to get smaller. They're not going to abolish the ATF. Interesting idea. They actually, I say that, and then I'm going to tell you this. Right before Waco,
oh yeah,
just prior to Waco, they were going to get rid of the ATF. They were going to. The FBI was
instead they absorbed them under the same budget as the FBI.
The FBI was going to take the ATF on, and they were going to just kind of. ATF is no longer an organization. But the ATF at the time had the best arson unit in the world.
I think they still do.
They probably still do. But they had the best arson unit in the world, and that's what kept the ATF open, was that arson unit. But they would have to do something really crazy in order to get closed down. I mean, hell, they were fucking giving guns to the Mexican cartel. That didn't get them closed down. So
recently,
yeah. Why would they?
I don't get to watch Silent Sniper VT. I don't get to watch the videos much, but I do listen to it and share the videos on Facebook. Thank you, man. I haven't bought much from you lately, but once I start the new job as a diesel mechanic at the end of the month, I'll definitely be getting a tool bag. Save your money, man. Yes. Take that money. Fucking make more money with it. Buy tools and shit. You don't need a damn tool bag. You will have, like, you can carry your shit around. When you're ready, we'll be here. But spend your money on shit that's gonna make you money. Definitely getting a tool bag.
And then when you want a tool bag, hop in the old car, drive down here, and just be like, "Hey, John, I'm a diesel mechanic." And then
always have
diesel work.
Yeah, there's always some broke diesel shit here.
There's always some diesel work.
More med gear and new EDC belt. Great story time with Skully. Keep up the awesome podcast from cold ass Vermont. Last one, William Arnold. These are motivational to me. I've done way more shit since I started listening to these on the way to work. Thanks, man. Right on. So, I don't know what made me think about it a minute ago. Something Jeff was saying, but about getting rid of the ATF. Like, we want to get rid of the ATF. The government's never going to get rid of big government. The government's always there going to fuck you, take your money to continue their big government. If you want to have more money, well, there's a lot of ways to do it. Stop buying stupid shit. And that's coming from a dude who buys plenty of stupid shit. Like, absolutely fucking... Like, I want to... When I die, I want people to be like, he was either a genius or he's fucking insane. Like, I'm trying to be more like Howard Hughes.
When they see the collection, they'll be like, he was insane.
Don't buy stupid shit. Use your money on shit that will make more money, and start a business. Start a business. So your tax code is this, right? Only this much of it applies to you. A couple inches of that fucking 20 feet of tax code. The rest of it is how to not pay the fucking taxes. Start a business. You can get creative on that shit. I'm not a gym business. I can't write off a bunch of gym equipment. You know how I write off fucking gym equipment? Because we manufacture a bunch of gym products. Wrist straps, gym bags, tool bags. We've got a bunch of product that we take to the gym and we photograph in the gym. We go to the gym, we shoot our videos. The music that's in the gym we use keeps fucking kicking our videos off and getting our videos demonetized. So what do? We're setting up a gym. I'm going to write all that off because the gym is here in the building. The employees will use it. We are using it for our advertising, for our gym line products. We are bringing athletes in. That's how I'm going to have that under the umbrella of the fucking corporation, and that's how I'm going to get away with doing that, and that's how my accountant and my tax lawyer is not going to have a problem with it, and we're going to expense it out. Just start a business, no matter what that is. Whatever your business is, you figure out what you do and how to fucking take what you like doing and be able to expense that. You can show a loss for the fucking first 7 years. I've never shown a loss. Like, I mean, well, on paper, fucking, but we've always just been lucky business-wise. Like, we've always had something people wanted. No matter what we were doing, however far-fetched or crazy it is, there was always people who were like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I want to be a part of that. Here's some fucking money. Yeah, let's go. So we've always been lucky in that aspect, but you should be a business. No matter what it is you do. And I know there's some guys like, that's not for me, whatever. But if you want to have money, you need to have a fucking business. Whatever your hobby is, start something. Figure out how to make money doing it. Figure out how to at least expense some of your shit off. I've got all these pets and shit. I can't write them off under the business. You know how I can write them off? As a farm. I can set up as a fucking zoo, a museum, or a farm. And then every fucking piece of that fucking animal feed and the fucking shovels and all the tools and all the shit that gets used on the property, it all gets written off. I can write off a lot of it. My accountant fucking takes care of a lot of that shit. But when you set up as a farm, all that shit goes away. Yeah. And that fucking 10% you're paying on all that shit, you don't pay any of that on the fucking sales tax anymore. So that's it. Thanks for the support. Thanks for, the fucking interest in using the Amazon shop. Thanks for, paying attention to what we do. Really, that's really what it's about. It's about you spending your time with us. Like, you allow us into your lives, and while you're driving or working or whatever it is you're doing, you have an interest in what we're doing. So thanks, and that's how we keep doing this. Did you see my fucking phone turn off and turn back on its own? Mm-hmm. What the fuck was that?
I don't know. You've just been updated.
So, and I have 100% battery too. That's fucking weird. We got a video coming out. You will hear this podcast tomorrow. There's a video coming out Thursday on the large tool bag. We have a fucking ton of large tool bags we just built. You guys haven't seen them. By the time you hear this, they'll be online. We just did the Valentine's Day sale. A ton of you guys use that. We're actually going to put a -2 to that up, which will have tool bags on in those colors. You can still use the code. But you'll see all that. You'll see all that on social media on Thursday. We'll launch an email on Thursday, so be sure to check that. And you guys that get the emails, I know you see an email on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
They're all different.
You should check that, because when we put it up Thursday, that's the shit we built Thursday morning. When it goes up Friday, that's the shit we built Thursday that finished Thursday night, Friday. Like, there's always some new header to that.
Yeah.
And like, when you guys come in on fucking Monday and you see on Facebook that we built something fucking cool you want, and you're like, how the fuck did these sell out? You know who bought them? Everybody that opened their fucking email.
Yep.
And everybody, like, we have this rash of dudes being like, send me some free shit. I'm like, why don't you get a fucking job and send me some fucking money? We do send free shit out. There's a Valentine's Day combat cock, and there's actually like 10 fucking combinations of them, but there's 3 different colors. They're 2-tone, and they have a piece of embroidery on them. Has the, the heart that you used to get that says like "Be Mine," and the Valentine's Day candy heart. That's what that embroidery piece on there is. And you could order 5 different fucking orders, and you'll probably get 5 completely different combat cocks.
Yeah, you'll get them.
There's just a enormous fucking combination to them. So that goes out with every order over $50. You have to use the code. When you use the code, and you'd be a fucking retard not to use the code, because it gives you free shipping. So if you just put in notes Valentine's Day or whatever and didn't use the code, like, we're probably not sending you your free shit. Like, It's pretty self-explanatory. It tells you how to do it. So, fucking have a good night, have a good evening, have a good fucking morning. You'll probably hear this tomorrow morning on the way to work or whatever. We do a lot of live feeds too for you guys that are on Facebook. Get on the Special Operations Equipment page. Follow us on there because I turn the camera on anywhere from 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and I just walk around in the shop and talk to people and interact and answer questions. But we also show you what's there. You will see a lot of people go, "Hey, do you have this?" And I can fucking walk right over and go, "Yeah, we have it," or "We don't have it. Order it. We'll have it in a week." Whatever. If you really want to see the inside workings of the shop, that's where that happens. So, I don't know. I don't know of another company that gives you access.
That's how you can game the system too.
Yeah, 100%.
John's walking around and you see something on Dora's sewing machine. That's probably coming up.
Yep.
Order it.
Like, I don't know of another company where you can actually interact with the people within. Like, we turn live feeds on sometimes during the day, and like, you hear shit we don't want you to hear. Like, we forget the fucking camera's even on. It's like the old webcams is really what it is. But we talk back and forth to you. So thanks for having an interest in us, and
we'll see you tomorrow.
Do good shit, man. God, this coffee smells good.